Hey everybody, welcome back to Leosophy. Finally got a thing taken off. Well, there it is. But it's Shark Week. Happy Shark Week. Like, that's a big deal to me. I have loved Shark Week since I was very little. It was like a holiday. And now I see like a lot of people acting like it's a holiday the past couple of years. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of jarring because it was something that I liked, but now it's popular, and I don't want to be a hipster about it and be like, I liked it before it was cool, but it's just weird to see all the, excitement about it. Some of it's probably also everybody's stuck at home. But I'm going to answer 3 shark-related questions. I thought that would be fitting. So, let's see. Question number 1. What sharks are most likely to eat you? Yeah. It's not very common. They're not nearly as dangerous, and of course that's something that you'll get reiterated throughout Shark Week. Like every program's like, by the way, we're gonna scare you, but they don't really do all this generally. But really, the only 3 that are what I would call dangerous. I mean, there's been numerous species attacking people. Even nurse sharks and even hammerheads have attacked people. Blue sharks have attacked people, but the big 3 that you probably better off not swimming around. In order, this is my personal order. First, you probably don't want to swim around a tiger shark because they do attack people and they are aggressive. You also probably don't want to swim around a great white. That one's probably common sense. Everybody's scared of those. But really, great whites are not very likely to actively prey on humans. The danger comes from the fact that if they nibble you to see what you are, like if they think you might be a seal or something similar, because they go after mammals particularly, the testing of you could be a bite that could kill you. They can remove a limb just testing. But again, it's very uncommon. But to me, the most dangerous, and the one that people really need to watch out for, not that you really need to watch out for sharks, is the bull shark. And that's because 3 reasons. 1, the males, their testosterone is through the roof. They're called bull sharks for a reason. Testosterone is through the roof, and they're very territorial. So it's not even a question of hunting a human as food. It's a question of just killing anything bigger than a bread box that's in their territory. Also, they're capable of swimming upriver into fresh water. They're the only shark I know of that does that. They can survive in fresh and salt water. They don't thrive in fresh water, which is why it's not like there's just massive numbers of them coming up the Mississippi or anything, but it happens. They're capable of dealing with fresh water. And the biggest reason why I think they're the most dangerous is simply, it's kind of funny, they're not the great white. They get overlooked. You rarely hear people talk about bull sharks, even though they're more likely to attack a person. So, just something to consider. Let's see. Let me draw up question number 2. What senses does a shark have? Like in relation to ours? Because, okay. They have all the senses we have, really. They have good vision, just like we do. Their sense of smell is incredible. You hear over and over again that it changes depending on which old maid's telling the story. Shark can detect a teaspoon of blood in an Olympic swimming pool. A shark can detect a tablespoon of blood from 40 miles out. I don't know the exact numbers, but they do have an incredible sense of smell, and blood is absolutely the biggest lure for them. It's what causes what people call feeding frenzies. Where something that has a lot of resources to attribute to, like a dead whale or something, and then next thing you know, a bunch of sharks come from all around and they just start tearing into it, and there's almost a complete lack of any other behavior except a feeding response that's observable. It's like all they care about, and it's because it's competition. It's like flipping Black Friday for them. Additionally, they actually have a 6th sense that's very interesting. Not all sharks, but some of them, many of them. Hammerheads, most notably, that's very sensitive in. They actually have an electroreceptive sense that allows them to, for lack of a better word, feel the electrical fields produced by other organisms, and it lets them find prey a lot more easily. And that makes sense because, as I mentioned before, the sense of smell is incredible. Their vision is good. but they still live in a massive blue environment. It's also three-dimensional. You know, we only have to deal, when humans hunt, we generally, unless you're dealing with like rocky mountain ranges or something, you really only have to deal in 2 dimensions. Sharks have to deal in 3. So this gives them an additional advantage, because if something's too far below them to see, or in an area where their sense of smell is not going to be as attributable, or even, and this you see with hammerheads in particular, it's one of the reasons why theirs is so sensitive, if something hides under the sand, they can just find them. It's like a little metal detector for the electrical fields that an animal produces. Let's see, last question. Actually, before I get to the last question, let me cover some of the other senses, because I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking of their vision and their smell and their electroreception. They also actually have a really great sense of hearing. Like, usually it's like lower frequencies, and that's because they really look for the thrashing of prey. So, like, if something's wounded, it's easier game, right? Well, they have the knack of being able to hear from quite a ways off the more erratic movements through water of a prey. And it's really interesting to think about hearing with regard to water, because I mean, if you think about it, when we hear, what we're hearing is the disruption of air molecules. And so underwater, we can't hear very well at all. But for them, because they evolved in a watery environment, it's the complete other way around. For them, hearing is the disruption of water molecules. So it's just it's interesting, because it's, especially when we think of dolphins too, we know they're, we know they're hearing, but we don't tend to think about it in relation to us. You know, at least for me, when I imagine a dolphin hearing, I imagine that it's muffled, but it's not going to be muffled. It's going to be clear as a bell. So yeah. Okay, now last question. Do sharks get cancer? Okay, short answer, yes. They absolutely can. Tumors have been observed, but this is something very exciting about sharks, and it's something that could prove very, very useful for people, which is one more reason why we should not harm sharks. And that is, man, my screen got really like off kilter there. Sorry about that. I hit it with my knee a moment ago. Okay, they actually have a compound. Actually, before I get to that, let me state what angiogenin is. Angiogenin is a protein, and what's impressive about it in its relationship with cancer is it increases the likelihood of having it. And I know that impressive sounds like an odd word to use in that regard, but what's impressive about it is it's something we need that gets hijacked by something we don't need. And really what it is this protein causes us to produce new blood vessels. So in other words, you know, think about an injury, for example. Your body's going to produce more to repair what was damaged, right? The blood vessel, the blood supply, right? Well, this can be a problem, because when a person gets cancer, the tumors do just that. They encourage the body to produce angiogenin, and as such, they create a blood supply. The body creates a blood supply to the tumor, feeding it, allowing it to allocate more cells to grow more and, you know, get more resources from a person. And really, that's sort of what ends up being fatal for a person. Well, sharks produce an angiogenin inhibitor. So it helps decrease the amount of angiogenin that the body produces, and as such, the amount that's readily in the blood supply, and as such, the likelihood that a tumor would be able to hijack that particular setup that we have and start allocating resources. And it's already been tried in humans. Inhibiting angiogenesis has helped treat cancer. Like, we know this. But doing more reverse engineering for the actual model of how it works in sharks could be really groundbreaking stuff in treating cancer in humans. And what's impressive about that, what's amazing about that, is it's just about every form of cancer in humans. I mean, there are a few instances where it wouldn't be applicable, but by and large, you're talking about something that would be useful across the board. So yeah, it's a big deal, and it's something that they just naturally evolved to have. So yeah, really cool stuff. But short answer, back to short answer, they actually can still get cancer and do, and it's been observed. So they're not magic animals like a lot of people say. They have all the same basic hardwiring that we do. They're just in a arguably cooler shape. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions, and once again, happy Shark Week, everybody. Bye.